Greetings, community. It's Kevin of Spring Comics, and my pre-order arrived, and that's actually the case. It's been almost 2 weeks. Yeah, I've been sitting on this thing nearly 2 weeks, being that I've been working, going to signing events, San Diego Comic Con. Um, yeah, it's been interesting past 2 weeks. So that's why I've actually been sitting on these books for quite some time. I'm looking forward to not only showing you, the community, these books, but I'm also looking forward to actually getting into these reads. Prior to which that I do so, I want to acknowledge those who decided they want to hang out with me on the live. And wow, first one, meanwhile, dude, seriously, between you and Las Cruces, you guys are on like this endurance path of hanging out with me on every single one of my shows, hanging out on everything that I've been able to offer to you, the community. I greatly appreciate you guys. Barry, how you do? I hope all is well. Great to see you. I heard that Jigs is not doing well, so I appreciate you not only assisting with him on his channel, but hanging out with us over here on this one. Hope all is well with you, and hopefully Jigs gets well soon. Hey, hashtag save Jigs, everyone. Starting off, let's go ahead and wait. Wait, what? Wait, what? What? Jag, I hope you're well. Judas, wait, what? What? No. What? How that? What? No, we're not going there. I have no idea what's going on, but we're not going there. Deadpool, issue number 3. This has been, I initially wanted nothing to do with the series. They offered a one per store, so I got 3. You know me, and after that, I was like, all right, now I'm kind of curious what this thing's all about. Oh, I'm still not going there in Las Cruces. So after kind of getting into that and seeing where the series goes, it turned out to be really well. It has nothing to do with in my opinion, what's going on the movie aspect, but the Wolverine Deadpool thing. This is a cool read, only 3-issue mini. So there you have it. That finalizes it, and it's actually really cool. There you go, parrot. Oh my god. That's why we do things live. You never know what's gonna happen. The Powerpuff Girls. This is, I think, considered the 1 in 20. It's a ratio variant, and the cool thing is, I got the cover. So a cover still is like freaking $9. I don't know. It wasn't cheap. And then we got Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu, issue 0. Guess who's back? That's right, Mark Spector. So this is the 1 per store. So there's another one. I think I got like 3 of them of. Let's put that one over there. Oh yeah, look at that. It fits. Let's put the power cup. Yeah. Look at that. It's beautiful. All right, moving on from that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All right, this is the introduction, and what we get here is the first introduction of the book. We get Raphael's introduction to the contribution of the overall story that we're going to get in the first arc. Each book, as you see right here, issue number 1, will have a single artist contributor for each one of the characters and books respectively. Now, I'm only hoping that carries on when we get to see Splinter, and then when we get to see them all together, that we get to see individual contributions to it. So I would like to see actually a single individual doing all backgrounds, things like that, another individual just doing Raphael, just doing Leonardo, and so forth. And then overall seeing a separate individual doing the colors of over everything. So there seems like there's a certain amount of continuity, but different overall line art and everything else by the other individuals. That's just, I would like to see it just for the first, 12 issues. And then after that, if they have to go anything else, well, there you have it. First issue, I highly recommend if you're a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. It's a cool introduction. And Raphael, fuck, man, he's a badass. I'm just saying. As I'm saying, Moon Knight, issue number 0. This is, again, we get to see Mark's coming back. That is a regular book. I got like 4 more of those things coming. So I'm dumb. Amazing Spider-Man issue number 1, the annual. This is part of the whole Infinity Watch. So we get, what is this, part 2? Yeah, part 2. And we're seeing this go up to, I want to say it's 9 issues. It's or definitely 8. And it's really interesting in the sense of the fact that all these gems now, the Infinity Stones, are now part of people. So yeah, it offers a totally different dynamic to the storyline. Amazing Spider-Man issue number 53. Yeah, Peter's having issues of being now Spider-Goblin. So that's what happens when you inhale too much dust. So we'll also get an introduction of what Normie is all about, Norman, and what his overall plan has been for the past 2 years. Plus, we're getting close to the finalization of Zeb and his contribution to the series. Zeb Wells, who will be finalizing, I think, his contributions in like issue, I think it's like 55 or something like that. And then he's done, and there'll be someone else taking over from there. So that's what we're getting, and we're getting that all just mounting up and just with this introduction of this character. And I'm really digging Spider-Goblin. I think it's pretty cool. Blood Hunt issue number 1. This is the second printing. And basically, to me, that's almost like a spoiler variant, and that's why I got it. It's like a spoiler cover. Giant size Little Marvels. Had to get it. Too cute. Couldn't deny it. And there you have it. Moving on from that, Daredevil, issue number 11. What happens in here leads to here. Daredevil, Woman Without Fear. I mean, if you're reading, you know, and if you're not, there's a lot to kind of build up to. You have to get through like the last 4 issues of the Daredevil of this series, and then you have to know what's kind of what was before that, the slightly, what leads up to this. I mean, you could blindly go into these series, but you might be just a little lost. I'm just saying. Biker Mice from Mars. This is Melissa Flores' book, and this is the new adaptation to the character series, being that they're going to do I think it's like a Netflix or something like that, series based upon this series. So yeah, it's looking forward to getting back into the series and talking to Melissa about it. Man's Best Friend, issue number 5. I think this finalizes it, but I'm not quite certain. I thought I saw an issue number 6 because I believe it initially was supposed to only be a 5-issue mini, but it might actually be 6 series now, 6 issues. I really been enjoying this. It's been a neat take on these 3 pets that have to go outer space, and they're essentially their guardian, their astronaut things, and it's definitely a unique, fun story. And I've been enjoying it. I had to get the claim. I mean, look at this claymation cover. This is so cool. I had to get it. So, you know, there you have it. I've been enjoying that series. And that writer is really essentially a genius. Barfly. There's a signing event actually happening right now. And, you know, I've been working so much and doing so many signing events that I just decided to skip it. I've been pushing myself too much, and I can't keep doing all this. Want to, though. Giant size Silver Surfer. Now, I think if it's tied into the Infinity Watch series that it will say it. So I'm uncertain now if this actually does have anything to do with it. Probably did, but I'm not seeing it on the cover. So it may not. I'm uncertain. All right, Ultimates. Now, when the original series came out, this is issue number 2. It came out, last year, and it was in issue number 1. And then they had to reboot the whole thing with a relaunch of an issue number 1 just last month because of where we're at with the new Ultimates as far as with X-Men, Spider-Man, you know, Panther, all that. So I had to fall in line and then retell the real expansion of what they want to tell in this new Ultimate universe. If that makes sense at all. So here we go with Ultimate X-Men issue number 5. And this is Peach Momoko's contribution to the series. And hers has been for those that are true hardcore X-Men fans, most have been essentially put off by this series. For those in which that really don't normally do these type of books, it's been different because it's been more of a focus initially on individuals as opposed to all these team interactions and following what's going on in the storyline with all these multiple contributors in the story. So it's been definitely different in a X-Men style of storytelling. It's been kind of off-putting for many. So just forewarning. I've been liking it. Here's what is second printing, I believe. I want to say this is a variant of the second printing. Oh, now I gotta know. I know my list is back there and I could look, but fourth printing. Holy Makatuni. And there you have it. And there you be. A little knowledge for you and definitely some for me. And here we are with the animation series, the X-Men with the blank. I've made a decision of late. When I went to San Diego Comic-Con, I ended up seeing a lot of artists and creators. And I was actually, after starting to price out what a lot of them start to charge for their signatures and how much signatures I end up getting, and then seeing John Comics for Kids with a book that he had with a lot of contributing artists onto the same book, then I started coming to the conclusion that I really need to start taking out a lot of the blanks that I have, because I probably have as many as 2 short boxes full, and just start getting some art done as opposed to just getting a bunch of books signed. I think I would value personally the art more than just the signatures, because I'm still getting the art and the signatures. And if I'm paying as upwards as many as 40, 50 and more for a bunch of signatures, I might as well just go, look, I'll forego a few, in the case of some $5 or $10 for the sig, I'll forego a few and just get the art when they're only charging as little as like 40 or, around 60 to 80 bucks. It's actually, the value's there. And now that a lot of them are starting to charge even more for even the signature and seemingly comparable amounts to do a sketch, I might as well just get the sketch, or as some of them call it, remarks. That's a whole nother thing I would love to get into one day. Amazing Spider-Man issue number 3, Blood Hunt. Yeah, if you're reading the main storyline, it's good. If you're reading all the tie-ins, it's really good. The tie-ins have actually been really done really well, and actually makes for good contribution to the overall storyline. So things like, again, Midnight Suns Blood Hunt issue number 2. We're seeing a Midnight Suns group that have to go after, Blade. And yeah, everyone essentially is, but it's different when it was, when he's kind of part of the whole, you know what I mean? So it's just really cool. And then now we see true ramifications that happened after the Blood Hunt stuff. So here we are with Miles dealing with some serious addiction problems. Needing the blood, man. You gotta have it. And then Doctor Strange. This poor guy, he's more, of late in the past 2 years, he's doing more stuff dead than alive. Poor dude. And then we have Blood Hunters, issue number 3. Still part of the whole Blood Hunt series. Without the help of Doom, it seems like, a lot of the world would have went to hell. It's just the things that they have to do to deal with that guy, man. I'm just saying, Victor, you're an ass. So we have Blood Hunt issue number 3 of the Blood Hunters, and then Blood Hunters issue number 4. Which again, Hallows Eve is a huge. I'm really a huge fan of hers. She's a huge, a character that I really like as an introduction in the past couple of years. I guess I'm just a fan of female characters, and when they can stand on their own and not have to be some type, subject to some type of, oh, help me, victim circumstance. Dracula issue number 3. Speaking of which, we got blood. I mean, my brain went away. Bloodline. There we go. Got it back. Issue number 3. She's, now I have to deal with Drac, because you knew that he was only doing everything out of self-serving purposes. So his contribution to what was going on in the whole Blood Hunt series, that it was actually self-serving. It was only a matter of time that he started challenging and going, all right, now this world's mine. Black Panther issue number 3. Without his ability to kind of withstand as long as he did and doing what he did, wouldn't allow what is leading up to issue number 5, which I've yet to actually read to. I have yet to jump into issue number 4, as you see. And I've been getting all the little single one-shots. So there's Psylocke. Here's Magic. And I normally don't, familiarize myself with these characters because I don't read them out of the X-Men stuff. But being it was a direct tie-in, some regards to the story, and all these tie-ins have been really good. I've been, I just had to get them. So here we are with the Incredible Hulk issue number 1 with the Blood Hunt part of the tie-in, but it really holds more to the original storyline of what's going on with the Incredible Hulk than it is integral aspect to the whole Blood Hunt series. So they do tie in together, and that's the thing is I do recommend you buying that if you are already reading the Incredible Hulk. And here we are with Wolverine issue number 3 of the Blood Hunt series. I'm looking forward to getting into this because we've been seeing him just doing Wolverine stuff. Venom issue number 35. This is all leading right here into the whole Venom War. The Venom War is going to be happening like in next month or actually in a few weeks. And from there on, we're going to get into 35, 36, 37. I think Venom 38 will finalize all that stuff along with the various tie-ins that go along with it. After we see what happens with there, I think what's going to end up going on is when we get almost into winter, we're going to see some pretty hardcore changes in the wearing of probably who's going to be the King in Black overall. So I had to get at least, I think I got 2 of the one right here of the second printing of that issue. And that's the homage that I just had to have. Jackpot issue number 4. Felicia seems like she's double crossing Mary Jane twice. And after this, I don't know how the relationship is going to withstand it. How to get the Scotty Young variant. I'm looking forward to getting issue number 5 because, man, like I said, things are not going to be the same. Now, initially in Symbiote Spider-Man 2099, Miguel used to be the only vampire. Well, now with Miles, it seems like we got 2. So I guess they had to change Miguel, and now he's part symbiote. So things are just changing in this Marvel universe left and right. Here we are with issue number 5, and I'm looking forward to getting into that just to see where now Miguel resides as far as where his character goes from here. Where does it end, and where does it go from here? The Spectacular Spider-Man. Issue 4. I don't know if I got issue 5 on that one. I sure did. And issue 5. All right, so here's the beginning. And here's more of the fight between these two guys. Between this and Spider-Gwen, issue, I think it's 4. These guys keep beating up on each other, man. These guys, if you recall, there was like 3 months ago, I was telling you how much I love the series because of how well these guys get along, how they have this cold and cute little banter between one another, and they're able to key off one another. And now they just want to rip each other apart. Wow. My mind's blown, really is. Speaking of which, Superior Spider-Man issue number 8. I think I'm going to get another one just as a spec thing. The reason why is after an interview that Dan Slott did about this book, he said to Marvel, I'm done at issue 8. And they're like, okay. No, and he said, no, you don't understand. I'm done. There's no more to tell about this character whatsoever, and I really don't feel that I can ever write anything more for this character. That's it. There's nowhere to go with it. It's done. And they're like, oh, you're killing it. Well, he's not going to die as much as it's meaning like how we can bring things, but there's nowhere to go from here. I don't ever want to really do anything more with the character, nor should this character be anything done with it, essentially. It's done. I want to recognize those decided can't come back out and cruise with me again. Cliff, Igual, Las Cruces, and Jag. Pear, thank everyone for being here. See how I did that. I appreciate you guys. The love, support, feels so good, feels so great. I'm going to keep moving on. All right, here we go. Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars issue number 7. I never got to get all the original series. So for me to go ahead and get all these things, it's not only considerably easier, but cheaper. Also, I get them in a condition in which I don't have to worry about, meaning, yes, they're new, but they're also new. So, meaning I don't have to worry about preserving anything that's old, and being that they're new, I don't have to worry about, it being difficult to refine if I damage it in any way. So, and I also did get the ratio, the 1-in-25, because it's just gorgeous. I really like that cover. And being that it was so cheap, I got two. One for me and one for me. And I've been getting these facsimiles too. The reason why is I had a couple holes in the gaps of this zone, and I just want to go ahead and complete it. And being that I already have some of these, it was just made it easier to, again, kind of back what I just said a little bit ago, is I'd rather read these than go ahead and break out my old ones, other than to make them breathe and change out the bags. Maybe smell some of the ink. I just want to go ahead and stick with reading the newer of the facsimiles than the older of the original version. Speaking of which, my original version of this is in like a 3.0 version. So to just whip it out of the bag and start reading it just starts deteriorating it even more. And definitely needs to be hydrated. But with this, I don't have to make concerns of any of that. I can't wait to read this again. Seriously. I've not wanted to touch my other one. I'm afraid. Immortal Thor issue number 1, annual of the Infinity Watch. I think this is part 3, yeah? Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to read all this thing as one fell swoop. I'm just going to put it all together and read it as, like a trade. I think it'll make more sense to me that way. And also, being that I'm getting the stuff in such a gap when I get my pre-orders, I think it'll make more sense as read and such. You know what I mean? When I don't have a week or 3 or gap in between. I'm trying to make recalls. You see, I have so many books that I read, so it makes it difficult to try to maintain any cognizance of what the fuck is going on in my life, let alone the books. Incredible Hulk issue number 14. If I recall, this is kind of the thing that springs off of the Blood Hunt issue number 1 of the Incredible Hulk, because that's really more of a tie-in to this than it is a direct one to the Blood Hunt series, even though they both have relation. I am so dying to get into this because I like the fact that we're seeing the aspect of Bruce Banner and the Hulk that we don't normally see, being that they're showing so much love for a character that really they owe nothing to. It's just kind of like a random child, just an orphan of such. And the reason that they're going through so much, it just shows that the character is written now with a considerably more amount of compassion than I've seen in this character in so long. But all the elements of horror and suspense are still there, and it's so much fun. Spider-Woman issue number 9. I think we're starting to see a little bit more true colors of this new team, and I don't think they're all what they're originally meant out to be. Spider-Gwen issue number 1, second printing. That was another one that was purely just a cover grab. The series itself is not very bad. It kind of teased me off in the fact that I end up picking up the series when I'm trying to, bleed off some of the books that I'm reading. And I end up picking it up due to the fact that on your recommendation, hey, you might want to check this out. And I'll just even be flipping through and going, all right. Next thing you know, I'm back to putting it on my full list. Ghost Rider Final Vengeance. This is 4, right? Or 5. Here we go. We finalize it out. It's been a cool read, and I really been digging it. But really, what this has been leading up to, and I knew this was happening, even when I first read that what this character was coming from initially, and the introduction of what the series was going to revolve around, is I knew really was going to bring out just another series that was going to come out. And that's what I'm getting to this fall. We're going to end up getting a series called, I believe, The Spirit of Vengeance, Ghost Riders. We're going to get a whole bunch of slew of Ghost Riders coming out. And we're also going to end up seeing a character we haven't seen in quite some long, I think over 10 years. Right. It's been a while since we've seen a character that's going to be dragging back out. Is the new a reintroduction to a villain. And it's going to be really cool to see because we get all these Ghost Riders. I mean, we're going to get a whole team. Spirit of Vengeance. Can't wait till that happens. Wolverine issue number 1. Please, this is second print. This turned out to be so far better than I initially thought. So I got to only read the initial, issue number 1. Here's issue number 2. And yeah, if you're a Wolverine and or a Ghost Rider fan, it works. It just does. Spider-Boy. All right, now if you're digging the series, much like I am, you know that this character is awesome. Not only that, but things are ramping up. Issue 9, 10, 11, and especially 12, we're going to get all introduction and more, which we've been getting so far too, new characters. But more than that, what we're getting is characters that really have some substance and fun. So they not only at times take themselves seriously, but at times don't. And when we get this campiness of like yesteryear stuff, 70s, you know what I mean? But with stuff that has tastes of what we grew up with when we were first reading some of these original Marvel stuff back in those days. In the 70s stuff, and especially like a Batman early TV show, this stuff was meant to be slightly campy, but it was fun. And we still felt the peril and sometimes angst against some of the villains that we were introduced to. Same thing with this. Slott is doing a really good job with this character, Spider-Boy. And what we get with issue 9, and then with 10, and then with an introduction of a character there, along with 11, and then with an introduction of a character in 12, it just ramps everything up and builds upon where Slott is eventually taking this character. We're seeing this character then in the Infinity Watch part series. We're also getting an annual coming for Spider-Boy. What this really means, character's not going anywhere. I remember that about a year ago, people said it was this character was just one of those flash in the pan characters that will go away. No one will be talking about it in a year from now. And here we are, a year from now. This character is not only still here, being playing an integral part into the Marvel Universe. Moving on from that, let's talk about Kid Venom. This is actually a really good series too. I was turned on to Kid Venom by Jigs. He said that this was going to be a real character, and he was right. This character is cool. The fact that it consumes other symbiotes, and that's how its main objective is rather cool and unique. And being it also plays in a time period of like pre-feudal Japan, also offers elements of fable and lore that is, unique unto this story and to this character that we only usually see in something like Usagi Yojimbo or maybe something that's told by Peach, like in the earlier X-Men stuff that she was doing. Here's a Daredevil One Without Fear. Was a variant. That was an issue number 1. Again, this is a story that comes after the footsteps of the Daredevil series, issue number 11. Here we are, Gotcha Man. This variant is from the homage to the Breakfast Club, and I'm all in on the whole Gotcha Man thing. There we go. There you go. There you go. I really been enjoying it. This is something I remember as a youth. And being that they're coming out with all these different books, this is also another issue number 1, but this is the cover A. That was the cover B, if I recall. And then here's the other storyline, a series from the same title, Gotcha Man, but it's Galactor, issue 1 of 4. As you well know, this is one of the main villains in the series. He's actually just the right-hand man to, the main villain in the series. And it will be coming out and supported by other series and other characters that will give you a bigger background history and understanding of the realm in which that they play a part in. Gotcha Man is very rich in the storytelling, and it's just something that is, again, because it plays into the heart of my youth, I'm very fond of that. It just plays to something that I've really been enjoying a lot of, and it's really I just been excited reading about it because I think they're playing into my heartstrings with a lot of these release titles. The beauty is they're so well written, it's hard not to pass them up. And here we are again with another. But then what I've really been digging about this is that the art is on the covers been really cool. Interior, The arts on the cover has been really cool. And here with the Sozumaikai, I mean, you can't go wrong. So I'm probably not going to maintain picking up on the series, but hey, there you go. Speaking about maintaining and picking up on the series, this is one I highly recommend. Geiger issue number 4. This whole Geiger universe, the whole unnamed universe, is just awesome. There's few of the universes that's been introduced in any of the, publishing companies that has been really able to match this outside of the Energon universe. But it's still holding the same realm of its image. So they've been doing a great job. And part of the contributing factors, stories, is Rook. Rook has been probably one of the stronger ones, even though there's no weak one in the series. It's just been a considerably different story and the telling, and the delivery is really awesome. I'm just curious on how all this is going to end up tying together in the back end. And Redcoat, well, what I've been really enjoying about this is it's been able to make me laugh as I've been able to experience some of the deep storytelling that allows a better understanding of the universe that resides in this unnamed universe. Because we keep getting introductions and contributions to the universe, but we still yet to see how it ties together, if that makes sense. We're getting there, though. We see timelines and stuff like that where it's supposed to, but we've yet to actually see it transpire as we read the books. And here we are with Redcoat. Was issue number 4? Yeah, 4. So yeah, this one makes me laugh, and I like that. And a little good amount of levity while I'm reading something as heavy as some of this stuff can be. Yeah, it works for me. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Untold Destiny of the Foot Clan, issue number 5. This finalizes the story, and we get to see who's going to take over the Foot Clan. We've been seeing this clash happening since issue number 2, and this is really where it's going to end up settling. Who's going to end up taking over, and how things are going to work out. I could see the benefits if they did work together, but I also see what the end result is they both want to take over and have full control, so that would never work. Usagi Yojimbo. Now, luckily, I did get to see Stan Sakai over at San Diego Comic-Con, and I did have him sign a couple of my books. And it just brought all that remembrance and joy that I had when I first met him back in the day when I was first reading the books. So being that I'm seeing not only an introduction of new characters into the storyline of Usagi, Yukiichi, but we're also seeing the same type of delivery and a storytelling, and it's just more enriching when he's able to subtly put in new characters and carry on a story that he's been doing for decades. So again, Stan Sakai, The Crow, Usagi Yojimbo, issue number 4 of 5. If you're not reading Usagi Yojimbo, and if you're remotely curious, I highly recommend you just start at any one of the series that he's been doing like this, The Crow, or even before it, Ice and Snow, and move on from there. Because it has been going on through a couple of the series, but you can jump aboard anywhere and feel like you kind of know what's going on. He writes that well. In the Spawn universe title, here's Misery. And what we get here is a little expansion of an understanding of Spawn's wife and what's been going on with her while he's been Spawn. And it's been kind of interesting. It's a little bit different. I'll end up collecting the series for the series' sake. But, I mean, it's, like I said, it's a little different. Sweetie Candy Vigilante is definitely right on my road. This is the sweetest little horror vengeance vigilante story that's probably out there. The only problem and gripe I have is it's not on the regular like I'd like it. So I do know that FOC is coming up this weekend. So the cool thing is by the time I actually get to read it, I'm not really missing out on much. But this chick is awesome. You know, she's the daughter of the Candyman and is just kind of obligated, self-wise, to do what's right. She just doesn't do it the right way. That's okay by me. World Tree, issue number 11. This book is kind of in and out on the understanding for me, but it has overall been really enjoyable. I think what really freaks me out is it's almost like a Black Mirror type of presentation. So when you look at it in the form of it can almost happen, that's freaky and enjoyable. Pharaoh, issue number 4. What you did to me, I think it was on issue number 4. Tony, oh man, I wasn't happy. I was like, wait, did that seriously? When the one cat was ripping the other cat apart, and then you end up seeing it turn to him. I'm like, you did not just do that. Yep. In issue number 4. I'm like, are you serious, Tony? So I have read this. And if you're not already reading Feral, I highly recommend the book. It's best told in the sense of as an elevator pitch. The Aristocrats meets, am I over here? Yeah. The Walking Dead. It is a story of 3 cats just trying to get home after they've been put inside a van for transportation to go to basically a facility to terminate the lives of all animals that are in the vicinity of this area because they're all deemed possibly infectious with rabies. That is the story of Feral. And when they actually get to their home, oh God, it's not what they thought. And their sanctuary is not quite at all a sanctuary. So what we end up seeing transpiring after issue number 4 is considerably sad when you start to get attached to some of these characters. And wow, if you're not reading this series, I highly recommend it due to the fact that it covers a full gamut of what individuals, in my opinion, are looking for in a good story. I believe this covers them all. Blue Book. So this is Project Blue Book 1947. Now, the original, or Blue Book 1947, the original Project Blue Book was opened in 1947. It was essentially an investigation of the government of reports of things in the sky. And this was essentially a good way for people to bring attention to what now is unclassified, and you have the ability to go look at it. So these are just interpretations of the story, or they're actually rather tightened up, but they're just loosely told. You know, they don't give you the full detailed versions of what transpired, but enough to have an understanding of what was in some of the stories of Project Blue Book. That finalizes it. To my understanding, there will be no more Blue Book stories, and it was just something that I believe James was having fun doing. And I have been having fun reading. I'm not into that stuff. So the fact that he wrote me in and I got suckered in and I was enjoying it just means that he's that good of a writer. So thanks. I've been enjoying the read. Creature from the Black Lagoon lives. And this is issue number 3. I never read any of these series. I've really enjoyed this thing so far. Never read anything from Man Thing or Swamp Thing or any of the thingy things. So the creature has not only been an interesting story, but it's been one that I understand in the sense of why people fall in love with these type of stories. They tend to be stories of compassion and love. And I'm a sucker for those type of stories. Rare Flavors. Ron V tells a story in here that is rather unique. And the cool thing about this story above anything else I've ever read in my life is he gives you recipes to go ahead and cook up a neat little dish every issue. Now, I've not tried, but they all look rather unique and delicious. So I'm not one for cooking, especially if you're asking me in a case of, I think it was issue 3 or 4 of something that takes as much as like 24 to 30 hours. I think it was. That was crazy. I'm like, seriously? Who has? Really? I mean, I get it, but no. I mean, no. Department of Truth, I'm so glad you're back. So issue 23. And if I recall, I think issue 22 is when it came back. Finally, we're going to get some understanding semblance of what's been transpiring before. And it's a breakdown. We're seeing a lot of manipulations. And yeah, I mean, I think what we're going to end up getting in the next few issues is some understanding of what's been motives, you know what I mean? And some history of why people have been doing. So we get an understanding of personal directives. I'm looking for that because we're going through the story and there's times when I'm like, but why? I mean, this doesn't make sense. So I think finally some of these answers are going to be told to us. Graham, issue number 18. This has been going on for quite some time, and it's been a rather solid story. I've been enjoying this one, and I'm looking forward to this chick kicking this other chick's butt because she is a deserving one as far as taking over the realm of the Grim Reapers. She's displaced in a place in which that she has to get out of, and we're seeing finally she's amassing individuals that are finally supporting her. I don't want to get into too much to go ahead and make you go, what the frick's going on? But essentially, Grim is a story of an inheritee, I guess as you would say, an inheritor. So the inheritee, I guess, is still alive, I think, and the inheritor of being a Grim Reaper doesn't know why she is, how she became that, why she died, how she died, and then why she's in a fight for what she's doing. It's only now becoming apparent what her true place is in her realm. And of the past 4 issues, she's been fighting. And that's where we're essentially at with Grimm. And it's just been such an enjoyable read. Stephanie Phillips has been doing a magnificent job in this story. And the cool thing about it for me is it's quite different from everything else that I'm reading. So it's a nice way to almost like cleanse the palate of reading. Speaking of which, there's another one that does the same thing. What's the furthest place from here I thought was going to end at issue 18? And being that we get to issue 19, I think we know where we're going. These kids are essentially trapped in a place that they find out that's kind of where all the kids come from. And once you're there, I don't think they let you out. Just saying. So I think that's what's going to end up happening. They're going to have to try to escape. Animal Pal issue number 4. I'm loving this Orwellian story. This is so cool, but it just makes me feel bad that I'm human. I mean, it's easy to make point fingers at other people and go, well, you're the problem. But when you don't want to point the finger and you look at yourself, it's kind of hard. It's a cool story. Animal Pal has been awesome. Transformers. I would say Void Rivals of this aspect of the universe is probably my favorite of the whole thing, but Transformers is the second. This is one of the most enjoyable reads that I am privy to do, and what I mean by privy is it was one of those almost like tertiary books that I put on my list. It was so far down the line. And I was thinking about cutting it. And now that I put it all together as one thing, all the reads, all the Dukes, all that other stuff. And of course, like Scarlet, issue number 2, and everything that's evolved and revolved around this universe, it's just been a pleasure to read. So that's why I guess I put it in that context. This is probably some of the best read that's out there is the Amazon universe. And Void Rivals is number 1. Void Rival started it all, and to me, is still the best out of all the reads in that universe. And it is the ongoing, so maybe that's why. Destro has been an awesome contribution, and when we see both Cobra Commander and Destro meet in issue number 1, which they met in leading up to in Cobra Commander issue number 5, we see what was, I guess, that match made, and we also see that they're both what their overall end goal wants to be. They're just using one another. But we also see that that's the relationship that they've always had. So it's very well written. Very well written. Space Ghost. Speaking of very well written, I've been buying everything Dave has been writing. So David Papos is just writing his ass off, and also his contribution as far as what he does with Space Ghost redeems a character that has been long gone and needed to come back, and shows how well, if written, a character can be in today's present and how significant it can be in today's present pop culture. And Space Ghost is actually now one of my new favorite recent reads. It really is that good. And Tony Fleeks recently ended up getting recognized for this book, and I believe they were nominated for an Eisner. So Local Man is really fun, and it's a really awesome contribution to Image because it pays homage to the old Image books that originally launched to make Image what it is today. Cool book, man, by itself. Or Jack. Kanto. Been reading this for close to 5 years now. Actually 5 years now. And A Place Like Home issue number 2 means that we're, I think, only 4 away from this series ending overall. And it's been such a privilege and a pleasure to read and meet with both David and Drew Zucker at San Diego Comic-Con, because our history of interviews, of talking to one another, meeting with one another. First time I got to see Drew Zucker face to face since first reading the book and the story at San Diego Comic-Con. Just everything has just been, I guess, surreal, and I feel that way about the story. It's almost a surreal story that means so much to me that I guess seeing it coming close to an end is a little bittersweet. So it's been an awesome story, and if you haven't read it, I do highly recommend just get all the trades, read it as a fell swoop, and just allow yourself to be just whiffed away into a world of fantasy. Cult of the Lamb. I believe it's issue number 2, right? Maybe 3? No, 1? Oh, I bet you this is a second print. This has been really cool, and I really enjoyed it. I'm unfamiliar with the character. I was given all the information from Kai purposefully to have understanding of what this character was all about from the game in which that the character originated from. The idea of the comic is to give more background history to the origin story of the character, Cult of Lamb. Now, I find it really cool. Kai, he didn't know really that story was really that significant. He always skipped it. But now that he sees it as a comic, he's finding it entertaining. So he told me the story of the game. I gave him the story of the comic. And between us two, we've really been thinking it's pretty cool. Speaking of cool, Barbaric issue number 2. As it turns out to be, Barbaric is now one of those hot book things that people are after. They're, I guess, making a Netflix or some type of movie based on the character. It's a story of an axe that a barbarian is cursed to wield, and he is forced to do the right thing in a very brutal way. The axe is alive, but only the barbarian can hear him, and it's bloodthirsty. So it makes for definitely a bloodthirsty style of storytelling of something that turns out to be very humorous. And you find yourself laughing at times at something that you might not feel right about laughing at. So that is the story of Barbaric. And I can't get enough. I've been reading that story for the past, 3.5 years, I think. Briar, issue number 7. This is, I guess we refer to as a penultimate issue. After issue number 6, we end up seeing that our heroine is having, rethinking her place in the world that she now resides and her effect on this world. Really what it is she's trying to be played, and I can't wait to her take out her final revenge. She just needs to get it together and just take everybody out. And the world will be a great place for her. Poor Sleeping Beauty. Here we are with the final book, and it's plastic, Death and Dolls. I ended up finally getting to meet Doug Wagner, and it was just so interesting to speak to the guy because he had such insight on, how should I say, how the direction of a lot of the books that he has written before and where he's going now, and what I should expect. Because that's what I guess I was looking for, is I was looking to see if he was going to keep writing these stories of like tangibilities, plastic, plush, vinyl. And he says he's slowly starting to hit a detour, like what we saw with Click, Click, Boom. But he's still writing in the same vein of storyline. I enjoy that. And that's what I end up telling him. I go, dude, you're like one of my favorites when it comes to this type of horror. So that's all my books. Those of us that hung out with me through the whole thing, Carlito, I truly appreciate you. Air Spider, Trev, Meat, you've been hanging out since me on all 3, man. I appreciate you. Same thing with Las Cruces. Where did Cliff go? I saw Cliff in there somewhere. There he be. Where's Las Cruces? There he is. Unk. Perry, I know you're there. And everyone that showed up and anyone I may have missed, Jag, I appreciate you being here. Everyone that catches me on the rewind, thank you very much. And if you like what you just saw, well, hit that like. And if you want to see more type of things like this, well, hit the subscribe. And that's pretty much it for me. entropy. You guys stay well, and until next time.